doing today, Tricia?
Okay, so we're making pumpkin bread with pecans, and you can also put cream cheese frosting on top. So I have a homemade cream cheese frosting. It's super easy.
All right, it sounds delicious. So we'll have a taste of it a little later in the show. So stay tuned.
All right.
Let's get to it.
Hi, my name is Tricia Bear, and I'm a graduate of OSUIT. And today we're going to teach you how to cook pumpkin bread. So the pumpkin bread, it's actually pumpkin pecan bread because we're going to add pecans to it, but you don't have to add pecans unless you want to. We've got the oven preheating for 325 degrees. And so we're going to actually mix our dry ingredients first, and then we'll mix our wet ingredients, which is going to be the sugar, the butter, and the eggs and the pumpkin. Okay, so we're going to add first, and I've already sifted the flour, so it's 2 cups of flour. Let me use this actually. 2 cups of flour. And I always sift my flour or cocoa because it gets lumps in it. So, okay, and then we're going to add a half a teaspoon of salt. 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Half a teaspoon of baking powder. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. And then 1 teaspoon of nutmeg. Now you can add ground cloves. I don't because I like it just like this, but you can add another teaspoon of the ground cloves if you'd like. Okay, so that's the dry ingredients. And all we're gonna do is we're gonna mix it up with a whisk, just so all the dry ingredients are mixed up properly. Now this recipe is super easy. I promise anybody can make it. It doesn't take that long to make. Okay, so that's our dry ingredients. So now we're going to mix up our sugar and our butter, and it's softened butter, so that way it mixes up better. So it's softened butter and sugar. And we're going to have 2 cups of sugar to our mixing bowl. Okay, 2 cups of sugar and then 1.5 sticks of unsalted butter that's softened. If you forget to take it out fast enough from the fridge, you can soften it in the microwave for about 20 seconds. All right, so you're going to mix that. If you ever get a chance to get a KitchenAid stand mixer, try to get the one with the attachment on the front because you can shred a whole block of cheese in about 2 minutes or any vegetables you want. It usually comes with 5 different attachments and it's very handy. So you're going to mix the sugar with the butter. I'm going to put it on medium speed. Let me grab it. All right, so once you've creamed the sugar with the butter, then we're going to add 2 eggs. And I usually put the egg in a bowl first to make sure there's no shell in it. That's 1. And there's 2. right, and then so we're going to add the eggs one at a time. Put it on medium speed. And be sure to scrape down your bowl, because a lot of times the ingredients get stuck to the side. So scrape down your bowl. All right. And the last thing we're going to add is a can of pumpkin. You can use fresh pumpkin, but I use the canned pumpkin for this. It tastes just fine to me. All right, so that's one egg, and then we're going to add the second egg. So it takes 2 eggs. All right, and then you're going to add you're going to add your pumpkin, your can of pumpkin. And then at the end, we're going to fold in pecans. I usually put a cup or 2 of pecans in mine because I like pecans. And it's chopped pecans. All right. Mix it again on medium. And when that gets done, we're going to actually fold in our pecans. And then the last thing we're going to do is put in our flour mixture that has the cinnamon, the nutmeg, the salt, the baking soda, and the baking powder. Okay, so we got our pumpkin in. And you're going to be using the whisk attachment for this. Okay, tell you what, I'm going to put in the flour next, the flour mixture, and then I'll add the pecans. You can do it either way you like. We're going to put in the flour mixture. We're going to go ahead and put this back on because we're going to fold in our nuts last. All right. Okay, start it slow. If not, it'll throw flour everywhere. Be sure to scrape down the sides of the bowl so the flour's not showing in your bread. Now you don't have to, but we are going to make some cream cheese frosting. It's homemade cream cheese. Once you eat this, you're not going to want to buy the store-bought because it's so easy to make and it tastes a lot better. Okay, so we got our flour mixture mixed up into our wet ingredients. Now we're going to fold in the pecans. And you can really put whatever nuts you want in here. Okay, so I have about a cup of pecans that I'm going to fold in. And how you fold things in, you just go down the center of the pan and then go clockwise and keep doing that until everything's folded in. Now this recipe will make 2 pumpkin loaves, so you'll have 2 loaves. I would make 4 loaves because it's really good and they're probably going to want 4 loaves. So if you can make double the recipe, go ahead and double the recipe. All right. And I've already got my oven preheated to 325 degrees. Okay, everything's mixed up. All right, so I have these 2 square loaf pans. And this is the type of spray I like. It's called Baker's Joy, but it has flour in it, so your bread should just come right out of the pan when it's done. You can use any kind you want, but I do like this one the best. And I just hold it back to spray it. So lightly spray it, just a little bit. Just like so. Be sure to spray the sides. Okay. Okay, so we're going to put half in one loaf pan and half of the pumpkin mixture in the other loaf pan. Once we get it evenly distributed, then we're going to spread it out in the pan. Now, depending on your oven, you can cook it anywhere from 45 minutes to 65 minutes, depending on your oven. So I would start checking it at 45 minutes because I know at my oven at home, it's done in 45 minutes. And while it's in the oven, we're going to make a cream cheese icing to go on top. About even. If you ever get a chance to check out the OSUIT culinary program, it's really good training. Usually the program's 1.5 years. I didn't do the summer, so it took me 3 years because I wasn't in a hurry. I wanted to make sure I learned the material that they give us. So you can actually do that entire program in 1.5 years if you want to work through the summers. And they're right there in Okmulgee, Oklahoma. Okay. Just spread it out with your spatula. Okay, so we're just spreading out the pumpkin bread in our loaf pans. Let Make sure it's even. Just like so. Use this to get the rest of it off the spatula. All right. So it's about ready to go in the oven for 45 to 65 minutes, depending on your oven. Okay, we're going to put our pumpkin bread in the oven at 325 degrees. You put it in the middle of the oven. And we're going to put it in for 45 minutes and check it. And it could take up to 65, but normally mine takes about 45 minutes. So we're going to put the timer on. All right, that's for 45 minutes. So while the pumpkin bread's in the oven cooking, baking, we're going to make the icing. So basically on the cream cheese icing that you can put over the pumpkin bread, so we're going to use powdered sugar. And then we're going to use the 4 ounces of the cream cheese. And then we're going to use half a cup of heavy cream. And then about a teaspoon of vanilla. And that's what we're going to use just to make our cream cheese frosting. That's how easy it is. So you're going to put it in your stand mixer. Got the heavy cream. Then you also want to make sure that your cream cheese is softened. So if you forget to take it out early enough, you can put it in the microwave for about 20 seconds to get it soft enough like it would be for room temperature. Let me grab a spoon. Yeah, so you should be able to put a spoon in it and it goes right through it, so that's how you know it's softened like room temperature. Put that in there. Lock this in. Okay. And then you're going to have your powdered sugar. So I'm going to use about a cup, but you can use whatever you like. And then you're going to use your 1 tablespoon of vanilla. And all you do is mix them together, and that's how you make cream cheese frosting. All right. And if you happen to have it too thick, you can make it thinner with water or add heavy cream, more heavy cream. And what I'm going to do, whenever the pumpkin bread gets done and it's cooled, then I'm going to sprinkle some more pecans on top of the frosting. You just want to mix it until it gets whiter and whiter, and then it's mixed up really good. Okay, and you just mix it up until it gets like a soft peak, not a stiff peak, but a soft one. See how it kind of folds over? That's called a soft peak in chef school. All right. Try a little bit of it. Really good. Once you taste this, you're not going to want to do the canned stuff in the store. It's really good. Okay, so we're going to set that to a side. And now we're just waiting for our pumpkin bread to be done, and then we're going to icing the pumpkin bread with the cream cheese frosting and sprinkle some pecans on top, and that's it. That's how you make pumpkin bread. Okay, so now we're getting the pumpkin bread out of the pans. We just got it out of the oven. And the way I knew it was done is I put a fork in it and nothing came out on the fork, so that's how I know it's done. And you can also use a toothpick. I'm just going around the sides with this spatula. It's an offset spatula. Just make sure it comes out okay. And then we made some cream cheese frosting earlier, and we're going to stick that on top of the bread once we get it out of the pan. See how it come out? Pretty much all of it came right out because I used that Pam spray with the flour in it. Came right out, so I'm going to turn it back over. Same with this one. Go around the edges really good. We're going to put cream cheese icing on it and then sprinkle some pecans on it, and it'll be ready to try. You don't want to cut it until it's completely cooled because it'll fall apart. Okay, let's try that. Just flip it over onto your cutting board. See, most of it came out. Just a little bit didn't. But for the most part, all of it came out. Alright, so before we cut it, we're going to go ahead and put the icing on top. The cream cheese icing that we made earlier. And you can put on as much as you want. Try it with that. And you just spread it out with your offset spatula. Now we put pecans inside of the bread, but we're also going to sprinkle it on top too. And that's optional. You don't have to put that in the bread or on top, but I do. And I just put it on the very top. And you want to wait until it's cooled too, so it doesn't melt off of it. Alright. Just like that. I'm going to do the other side, and then I'm going to sprinkle the pecans on top. I think we got enough. We'll just do this. Let's see. This is pecan pumpkin bread. Maybe a little bit more. All right. Just like that, and then we're going to sprinkle some pecans on top. Okay, and our last step to the pumpkin bread with cream cheese icing is we're going to cut it in pieces, and then we're going to try it. Turn it around, do the other side. And this recipe for this pumpkin bread, it's not dry at all. It's really good.
This is very tasty.
Did you try it?
Smells good. And it is nice and soft.
What do you think?
Yeah. Oh, so good. This is awesome.
Let me try a piece.
Yeah. Have it made. It is really, really good.